Y'all ever notice Taylor Swift has about 1 million songs about breakups and not a single one about giving blowjobs? Could be some correlation there. Who knows? All right, we are back with another Drive Across 65, Season 1, Episode 19. We start a ton of episodes saying, what a crazy weekend in sports. This one was for sure by far the craziest. Upset city across the board. We were on the right side of a couple of them, starting Friday night with UCLA covering and winning straight up against Washington. Let's go over. So we alluded that we were going to have a short card. We said that going into the podcast last week, we were going to have a short card because there was a ton of action, but not a ton of angles to pursue. It was just going to be an action-packed weekend, but there were no true advantages as far as betting. We didn't see any great angles. We gave out a handful of games, a couple of upsets. We got there. Shout out to Kentucky, the road dog of the week. We'll talk about them. Road dog of the week, staying undefeated, felt great. Let's talk about how insane this weekend was. Okay, so Pitt, 21.5 point favorite at home, lost to Georgia Tech, who just fired their coach, had an interim head coach. And there's an angle to be played with the interim head coach, but just didn't see it in this game. 21.5 point favorites lost outright. Georgia, 31 point favorites at Missouri, didn't take the lead until 4 minutes left in the fourth. Definitely didn't cover the 31. Minnesota, we had them at 12. We had Purdue at plus 12. Minnesota actually went off at -9. They lost by 10 to Purdue. Shout out to us. We had that one. Oklahoma, 5 point favorite, lost by 31. Louisville, 14 point favorite, lost straight up to Boston College. Still the most Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team of NCAA football. It is insane. Wisconsin, 7 point favorite, lost by 24, got their coach fired. This league, guys, wow. What an insane, I say that all the time, what a crazy weekend. This one was truly, truly insane. We had a couple daily picks, the Friday night Washington game, Washington UCLA. We had UCLA in the points. The Pac-12 is the only conference who did what they were supposed to do over the weekend, even with UCLA at home being underdogs, winning. That wasn't as asinine as Georgia being 31 point favorites and not taking the lead till late in the fourth. Pitt being 14 point favorites, 21 point favorites, 21.5 point favorites and losing outright. The Pac-12 was the only ones that are like, hey guys, just relax. We got this. Like I said, outside of UCLA, which we had, shout out to the daily pick. The night slate daily pick saved us. We're going to talk about some of those. Again, Kentucky, shout out to them, man. The road dogs of the week, stay undefeated. Kentucky had so many chances to win that game outright and just kept shooting themselves in the foot. A missed field goal, blocked PAT, gave up a safety, 2 fumbles in Ole Miss territory, one that would have won the game. Just, it was gross. We did have the 6.5. They did cover. Shout out to the Drive Across 65 Road Dogs of the Week. Staying undefeated. Nevertheless, it still hurt that they lost. We'll have a bounce back opportunity against South Carolina at home this weekend. To get right, we'll talk about that game Friday night. So let's talk about some of the other games here. The Service Academy game opened up 10-0. We needed over 37, 10 points in the first quarter, and it just stopped. It was just, shout out to the troops. Appreciate you guys. America. We didn't get there. We talked about Purdue plus 12. I liked Purdue going on the road I liked them in the points. Anytime you take a team in the points, you want to feel confident that they can win the game. Not exactly confident that Purdue could win the game. Was extremely confident they could have covered. If it had not been for maybe my bias towards Kentucky, Purdue would have been the road dog of the week. That would have covered too. But Purdue plus 12 covers easy. NC State. So we missed the train on betting against Clemson. I still truly believe they are not good, but their schedule gets kind of cupcake coming up, and we might be able to play that angle to our advantage if they start blowing teams out. They have Syracuse coming up. I think 3 or 4 games. Obviously, it'll be in South Carolina at Clemson because why would they travel? We'll probably find an angle on Syracuse to play against Clemson. That actually might turn out to be a really, really good game. NFL. The Texans Chargers under got blown up immediately. Scored so many points there. I think there was a pick 6 to start the game, and it was just gone from there. Panthers at home. So we're gonna talk about the Cardinals for a second, because I keep saying the Cardinals are bad, and I keep believing it, and I can't figure out why. Here's why. I heard this stat during the broadcast. Okay, the Cardinals have not scored in the first quarter all season. The Cardinals haven't didn't lead a game until the 11-minute mark of the fourth quarter against Carolina. Their win against the Raiders, their only other win, was in overtime on a scoop and score. They took their first lead, fourth quarter, 11 minutes left against Carolina. That's why I say they're bad. So here's the new angle. If the Cardinals don't want to score, we'll start betting against them first half and start betting first half unders, and we'll ride that train for a while, see how that gets us. Jaguars. This one hurt. Opened up the game 14-0. It was a big deal. The Doug Peterson return. So they opened up 14-0. We had them plus 6.5. It was another situation where I was already counting that bet as a win. I was already counting that money, and I liked the Jaguars' strategy of bringing Hurricane Ian with them to Philly in order to try to manipulate the game. Turns out Trevor Lawrence, not a big weather guy. His average passer rating was fumble. 3 fumbles, interception. If you look at the play-by-play from this game, it is absolutely disgusting. And Philly didn't look great either. It took them a while to get the engines revved. Also, they even, like I said, opened up the game 14-0. The first play of the game was a pick 6. If you look by the play-by-play, it goes interception, fumble, punt, fumble, punt, fumble, fumble. It was, and that's pretty much the whole story of the Jaguars that game. I still believe in them. I still think that they're good. I still like them to win AFC South. They had, so in the craziest part, they're getting points on the road at Philly in the weather. They had the ball in the fourth quarter, much like Kentucky, and just fumbled, just turned the ball over. Couldn't hang on to the ball. It was gross. Shout out to Will Levis, Trevor Lawrence, the emoji with the handshake. They both beat us both, and there's no negative takeaway from either one of those plays, because obviously Kentucky covered, had the opportunity to win. The Jags, down 8, definitely had the opportunity to cover. I mean, the Jaguars gave them the chance, and they fumbled it away. I still like both of those plays. I'd still play them again. We're going to take a step back here. I did miss one. Scrolled too fast. Arkansas plus 10.5 at home against Bama. We got backup quarterbacked again. Bryce Young got hurt. Maybe it mattered, maybe it didn't. There was no chance Arkansas was going to win this game in the first half or cover, even with Bryce Young out. There was a chance maybe in the third quarter, in the middle of the third quarter, where it looked like Arkansas was coming back, and they looked really good. Looked like they were going to cover the spread for the game, which was at some weird 18, 21 points, somewhere in there. But they didn't. They got donkey kicked. We got backup quarterbacked in this Arkansas game, in the Louisville game. There's another game where we got backup quarterbacked, and it just keeps blowing up on us. You would think that the backup quarterback's giving us the advantage, and it's just we're getting beat every time. I think it was a Clemson game we got backup quarterbacked at one point also. Nevertheless, we still booked the winning weekend, so we had the over. So I know you guys, if you're watching this video, obviously you follow my other videos on YouTube. Weird weekend, right? Very, very weird weekend. I'm going to stop the recap right here, and we're going to talk for a second. So give the gambling gods the energy that they're giving back to you, right? Or give back the energy they're giving to you. So insane weekend, right? We named off all the crazy upsets or potential upsets, Georgia, IE, so on and so forth. So we bet the trend of Alabama first half. It blew up. A lot of the trends blew up this weekend. So what we did was we reversed it. We reverse trended on the gambling gods. They shined on us, and we took advantage of it. So Braves Mets Sunday night game. Never bet sweeps. Never bet sweeps. Never bet sweeps. If you're gonna bet sweep, bet against the sweep, right? Knock that trend out. Bet the Braves against the Mets. Minus 130 cashed. The Sunday night game has a tradition. We talked about this before in the Seahawks Broncos game, I believe, of how or it was the Seahawks or Broncos Niners, one of those games, one of those NFC West teams. We mentioned how the Sunday night football trend was always going under. The primetime game Sunday night always go under. What did we do? We took the Bucks and the Chiefs over, reversed the trend. Out of the gate, we got a kickoff, fumble, touchdown in 10 seconds from Mr. Mahomes, never looked back. Mike Evans, anytime touchdown score. There's a trend of him not scoring last week. I tried to make that a funny joke. A couple people caught on. He was obviously suspended for the fight, didn't get to score last weekend. And I really just bet on him to come out hot and to win the ball. He did that. So nevertheless, the lesson here is we bet the trends, we bet the angles, we bet the smartest plays that we can find. And then when that's not going that way over a 3-day weekend, reverse it. And it worked. So we opened up the NFL getting crushed in the morning. The Texans lost, Panthers lost, Jags lost. So we reversed it. Bet against the trends. And we ended up going 3-0 on the night slate. And even got plus money because the Mike Evans anytime touchdown score gave us plus 130. We ended up booking a win Sunday. Pretty awesome. Not mad at that situation at all. We're going to talk about the Thursday night game. Well, let's talk about UFC. Mackenzie Dern, that was a big hit. That sucked. A couple of my guys had a couple of the underdogs that looked good, but I couldn't get everybody to mesh together on some of their picks. Seemed like Mackenzie Dern was a consensus. She opened up slow. I was watching around the second or third round, looking at the sports book, and at one point she was minus 500 to win the fight. She got her opponent, I can't remember her opponent's name, got her on the ground, had her choked up a couple times. Nevertheless, lost the fight. It was a gross L, but I still have faith in the UFC guys. We're still booking wins overall on the podcast, betting UFC. No UFC this weekend, sad face. We're going to bounce back. Be some good cards coming up. We'll have some action. As for the Thursday night game, Broncos, Colts. So, Broncos at home, -3 against the Colts. you can try to look for any single 1 yard advantage in this game for either side. You're not going to find one. Neither one of these teams want to give anything up. You could try to do some sports math or some football math and say, well, the Broncos played better against the Texans than the Colts did, so let's play the Broncos are better game. The Broncos are beat up. They're missing it. Williams is out. Really big hit for them. They're beat up everywhere. I believe Gregory's out. He's on IR also. Thursday night games, the rule is we like to bet the more experienced quarterback. There's no edge there. Matt Ryan and Russell Wilson. There's no edge. Both of these guys have tons of experience, master of the craft. You obviously get 3 points for being at home. If you're the Broncos, -3. So what the sports books are telling us, what the odds makers are telling us, is that this is on paper exactly a down the middle, even game, much like the Bears and the Texans were. So we are going to take the points. Colts +3, Thursday Night Football against the Broncos. Broncos are beat up. We're also going to sprinkle some anytime touchdown scores. They're not. I don't believe there's going to be a ton of touchdown scores, but Alec Pierce coming out for the Colts has looked really good. He's on my watch list. Yeah, I'm kind of falling in love with that kid. He's +500 to score an anytime touchdown. We're going to sprinkle that, probably put maybe a half unit on it or so. And obviously, Jonathan Taylor -110 to score a touchdown. So roughly, we're going to put 1.6 units on two different anytime touchdown scores for the game. If Taylor scores, we'll be up a half unit no matter what. If Pierce scores, we'll be up 1.3 units no matter what. So there's advantage to either one of these guys scoring. I don't see the Broncos giving up a ton of passing yards, so look for Pierce maybe to catch a weird out route inside the red zone, maybe on the goal line, or JT to break free, either one. I think they both sound like smart plays to me. It's about all we got for the recap. This is what happened. So we had a short episode Friday because it was a short card because it was such a crazy weekend, which we proved that it was. I don't want to toot my own horn too much on this, but when I say there's a ton of action, not a ton of angles, we only have a short slate, short card, and then it comes out and you have all these huge games that go insane. The proof is kind of in the pudding, guys. So short recap. We are going to be on the Colts +3 and the 2 anytime touchdown scores, like them both. And we'll have some angles Friday night. I like this weekend slate. We have another London game. Make sure to set your fantasy lineups or set an alarm to set your fantasy lineups at 8:30 a.m. Saturday morning or Sunday morning, because I got hit with the Alvin Kamara being out. They announced it at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a 9:30 game. Why would anybody be up at 8:30 on a Sunday? It doesn't make any sense. It's blasphemous. That's it for it, man. 20-minute video. Love it. Hashtag drive across 65. Pineapples still don't go on pizza no matter who you are. And watch out for the daily picks. Might find Aaron Judge home run prop coming up, man. He's got a couple games left. We'll see if we can get him there again. Shout out to us for making history. Good luck, everybody.